Hello and welcome to the December 2025 John Twolf shareholder meeting. Please come in, have a seat, sign the sign-in sheet, and we'll get started in just a moment. If you've never attended a shareholder meeting before, basically this is a monthly get-together led by the CEO of John Wolf Enterprises, me, where we go over the product from the past month of videos and we gauge shareholder interest and satisfaction, as well as look forward to the next month. What you can expect as shareholders of John Twolf in terms of new videos. This is also the last shareholder meeting of 2025, and I'd like to just take a brief moment to reflect on the previous year. It's been quite a busy year. I've been posting videos almost every day for most of the months throughout the year. I did take March off because of the birth of my son, who is now 10 months old, which is amazing to think about. But yeah, it's been quite the year. I've finished Red Dead Redemption 2, played all the way through Blueprints, played all the way through Hollow Knight Silksong, and just a bunch of other games. And I'm excited to get into some short series and one-shots in the next month to wrap things up for 2025. And yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. I also want to talk briefly about my plans for 2026, but that'll be towards the end of the video. There's actually going to be, it's not going to be same old next year. So I just wanted to throw that out there. All right, here we go. This is what has been posted since the last shareholder meeting, Sick Edition. We wrapped up what there is to play, or what I'm willing to play, of No, I'm Not a Human with Part 9. There will be more new No, I'm Not a Human videos coming up because there's a planned content release sometime this month. There's no release date for it, but I was reading on Steam that they're planning on releasing 12 new visitors and a new ending and just some new content for the game at some point this month. So I'm not exactly sure when it's happening, but when it does, I'll play it, so there'll be a couple more No, I'm Not a Human videos at least. We also wrapped up Hollow Knight Silksong. I 100%ed the game. I played against every optional boss. I got every item, you know, the works. What 100% means. And I'm happy to have played the game. I really enjoyed it, but it also was like not super popular. Totally understand it's a hype new game. So many people were playing it. I had a lot of competition for eyes on it. And I don't exactly have a big Metroidvania audience. Maybe someday that'll change, but people just don't really come to me for Metroidvanias. With that said, thank you to everybody who watched the playthrough and enjoyed it. I had a great time, and you know, I hope to play more Metroidvanias on the channel in the future. I think I'll be able to get through them in 10 parts or less rather than 25 like this one. But I'm glad I played it, and you know, onwards and upwards from here. Since I finished Silksong, I did a couple of one-shots towards the end here. I did a Last Report, which I was a little disappointed by, and the Lightkeeper, which I was very disappointed by. Lightkeeper, the comments on the Lightkeeper were interesting, because basically, I didn't know this going in, but there's a lot of AI-generated content in the Lightkeeper, and I spent most of the video going over basically all the errors in the game, since I kind of had a suspicion about AI generated cutscenes and the like, and I started looking at the environments more closely and being like, these light boxes have no lights in them. You know, just stuff like that. That chimney's in the wrong place. And I think I tend to maybe not explicitly say what I'm doing when I do things like that, but the whole purpose of that was basically, and I explained this at the end of the video, but not everyone's going to watch all 2 hours. I explained at the end that the reason for doing that, for nitpicking so hard, is because when you cut corners and you put AI generated content in your game, you know, you're not actually manually creating anything. And so when you do end up manually creating things like the light boxes or placing the chimney or things like that, you end up making really basic mistakes because you're not detail oriented. And so that was the main criticism that I had for the game, other than just the fact that I'm against AI generated content in general. just showing that it doesn't necessarily make a good game. There's so many flaws in the game, so many tiny little things, everything from the text of the notes to the placement of assets, and you know, I just wanted to kind of basically make lemonade out of lemons, because I quickly realized that I just wasn't really going to be into the game. So I was like, how can I still make this a worthwhile experience, not only for me, but for people watching it? And so I decided to take kind of a more educational route, I guess. And not everyone was cool with that. I had everyone from vehemently anti-AI people accusing me of platforming it, which I don't really understand, because I basically spent 2 hours shitting on it. And then you had people on the other side being like, I have no problem with AI generated content. I think it's totally fine. I think you were nitpicking. This also drew some people out that I kind of wondered why they were here, because it's like they were like, wish you would just play the game. And it's like, okay, well, you know, if you just want to see the game, you can watch a no commentary video on it. So I don't know why you're here watching me play it specifically. The whole reason for my channel existing is for me to give my opinions on things. It's not just in that video, it's in every video I make. But I don't know, maybe I just didn't make clear the purpose behind what I was doing in that video. But yeah, it was an interesting experience, you know, going through the comments on that one. Let's see, Easy Small is playing RV There Yet. There's part 1 and part 2. Part 3 should be out by now. This is coming out a couple days after the first. But yeah, RV There Yet part 3, the finale, should be out by now. It was a fun, easy, small venture. I'm glad that we got to play something a little different, something other than Repo or Peak or some of the ones that we just played repeatedly, Gone Fishing. And it was nice to do like a trilogy of sorts, and then from here on we're going to be moving on to something else. I'm not sure what Easy Small is going to be up to next exactly. We might do Phasmo, we might do, you know, I don't know, we might return to Repo, because there's some monsters that Sino and I haven't seen, and so we'd like to see those. We're not really sure exactly what we're doing yet, but there'll be a new one, a couple new videos before month's end for sure. Escape the Backrooms. I posted the full game, all 6.5 hours of it. I replayed the game from scratch with the Lunch Lady crew, LLC, aka Dom, Hayden, and Gigi. And we didn't want to play through the entire game again, but in order to get to the fully released new levels, we were under the impression that we had to. I still don't know if that's the case or not, but it was an experience. An experience like no other. Video did really well, I think partially due to the high runtime, but yeah, it was a fun game. Just want to make a quick little aside here, you know. I sometimes will get people on the collab videos that think it's okay to talk badly about other people in the video. It's mostly been squashed out with Easy Small, but when I was first posting stuff with them regularly, I was getting a lot of stuff like that, and I just want to say, for whether it's Easy Small or LLC or new groups that I play with in the future, which I actually am planning on playing through some more collaboration videos, not only this month but also into 2026. If you post something just shitting on a friend of mine in the call, I'm going to remove the comment, and I may even ban you if it's something that's mean-spirited enough. I've said this before with Easy Small. I put my foot down on that, you know, last year sometime, but I just wanted to reiterate it. I don't really care if you find somebody in the video annoying. You know, you can phrase that feedback somehow where you're not just personally attacking them. Seems like people are having a tough time doing that, but you know, they're my friends, and I'm going to stand up for them, and I'm not going to tolerate anybody just blatantly, publicly shit-talking anybody. So, just wanted to make that perfectly clear. You're not going to get a sympathetic audience from me. We also played through 6 videos of Tormented Souls 2, which a lot of people did not expect me to play because I did not particularly like Tormented Souls 1, but I actually quite liked Tormented Souls 2. Yeah, and it did pretty well overall. There was a lot of interest in it. I think this is a great example of like, I don't just write stuff off. Just because I didn't like the first game, I still gave the second game a chance, and I'm glad that I did because I liked it. I had a good time with it. I mean, it's not a flawless experience, don't get me wrong. I still had some problems with the story that I voiced throughout, and I think it was a little long, and yada, yada, yada. You know, just kind of overall some nitpicks, I think. But overall, the gameplay was pretty solid, and it was a nice, you know, retro survival horror experience. So I had a great time with it. Yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. Nothing else. I mean, you know, you play through these retro survival horror games and you're like, it's like Resident Evil. There's not really much else to say other than that, unless there's something just horribly wrong with it. And there wasn't, so. I started a new playthrough of Demon School. This is a tough one. I've posted 3 videos of it. And, parts 2 and 3 have bombed significantly, which, you know, they didn't do much worse than like the typical Silksong video did in terms of, you know, engagement and views and stuff like that. However, I'm running into a little bit of an issue here because I'm also not really liking the game that much because it's a lot different than what I expected. And so I might not post any more Demon School. I'm still considering it. It's a very long game, and the tactical RPG gameplay is not quite what I had in mind. It's more puzzle-like than it is like an RPG experience where your characters get stronger and stuff like that. I was expecting something more like the Banner Saga and less like Into the Breach, and it's more Into the Breach. But even Into the Breach has more RPG elements than Demon School has. It's very visual novel heavy, and the characters are like straight up kind of one-dimensional and a little dumb. Like I said in the title for part 3, wait, there's demons here? Character really asked this. One of the main characters is still a little skeptical that there's demons involved, even though like as soon as you arrive at the place, you get attacked by demons in part 1. And we fought like a giant demon computer in part 2, and in part 3, one of them's like, what's going on? We're doing what? Demons? And I feel like it's just not one that I'd want to commit like 12 to 18 parts to. And so I'm still kind of going back and forth on that, but don't be surprised if there's no part 4 to Demon School. I'm still monitoring the feedback. I asked for a lot of feedback on part 3, and I'll ask for feedback again here. If you're like a Demon School stan, let me know. But yeah, there may not be another video for that. With that said, we're also starting up a new playthrough of Chronos New Dawn. There should be part 2 up by the time you're reviewing this. This is the latest game from Bloober Team. It is a behind-the-back survival horror game. It is very much like Dead Space, but slower paced, more atmospheric, more of like a retro survival horror game take on Dead Space, which is more of an action horror game. So I'm actually really enjoying it so far. I've recorded the first 3 videos, and I'm going to be recording part 4 very soon. I'm liking it. I'm not like blown away by it, but it is a very solid game so far, and yeah, I'll be playing that through to the end. I don't know how many videos there will be exactly. I'm guessing fewer than 10, but not more than 10. We'll see how things go. But yeah, that's been having a fairly good reception so far, both from the audience and from me, and that's the best case scenario. So yeah, did I miss anything? That was, oh yeah, there's Dead by Daylight VOD. There hasn't been a Dead by Daylight VOD recently because I didn't stream on Thanksgiving, which was a Thursday, and I didn't stream the Thursday before that because I just had so much main channel stuff to do. And there's been a lot of main channel stuff. I posted 3 main channel videos last month, and I had 3 sponsored videos, so that's why there was so much going on there. But yeah, didn't skip a beat on the uploads here on John Wolf, so I'm happy about that. Let's go ahead and discuss what is going to be happening in the next month. So, going to be continuing Chronos New Dawn. we'll probably not be doing any more Demon School, but who knows? There might be a Demon School Part 4. People have been asking about Date Everything, and if I can find some quick moments to plug that in throughout the month, I will definitely do so. Blueprints, we've got that one last video, and I gotta do it before the end of 2025. I can't go into 2026 with Blueprints not finished completely, 100%. It's gonna drive me crazy if I don't do that. But at the same time, I don't want to do 100 more Jive puzzle boxes. So we're kind of at a standstill right now. I am gonna be going back into it soon though, and just trying and just seeing if I can muscle through it. If I have to, I will look up meta strategies for getting through that last part because it is a doozy. But yeah, those, I haven't forgotten about those. They just are not high priority at the moment. But I do want to get into it with them again, both before the end of the year. With that said, another goal that I have for this month to wrap up the year is to get through a lot of horror games that I haven't gotten to this year. I'm going to show you a little bit of a list. But before I do that, there's a new Blumhouse game that is coming out called Sleep Awake. It's their first, Blumhouse Games, the publisher, it's their first game published since Fear the Spotlight, which was last year, I think, like late last year. So I'm planning on playing that, Sleep Awake, as well as AILA. I've heard a lot of good stuff about that, and they gave me a code, so now I have to play it. Let me look real quick at other games, though. Other games I'm considering for this month, Skin Freak. I meant to play that actually on Halloween. I ended up getting sick at the end of October, so it kind of threw a wrench in my plans, but Skin Freak, the latest game published by Public Combo, developed by Black Priest Games, I believe, Jordan King, and they developed Bloodwash. So, yeah, if you don't follow indie horror, I'm just saying a bunch of words. I'm also planning on checking out The Seance of Blake Manor. A lot of people have asked about that. It's less of a horror game and more of like a mystery, dark adventure game, I think. But I'm interested in that, and I would love to check it out. That's supposedly like a 5 to 8 hour playthrough. Static Dread is another Lighthouse game that I want to play after playing The Lightkeeper and being thoroughly disappointed by it. Playing Static Dread, there's also an Easter egg for it in No, I'm Not a Human, so it's published by the same publisher, Critical Reflex. So I want to check that out. There's a game called Eclipsium that I'm interested in. That's like a 2 to 3 hour experience. There's also a game called Radiolite I want to play. There's one called Junji Ito Maniac, An Infinite Jail, which is a few hours long, and as someone who is a big fan of Junji Ito, you might not be able to see it from this angle, but I have a whole shelf completely taken up by Junji Ito horror manga. I've got all of the English published stuff. So I'd be interested to check out the Junji Ito horror game. I haven't heard like a ton of amazing things from it or anything, but I've got it in my library, and they actually contacted me directly about it, which I found surprising. And then, so those are my main games that I want to at least try to get to this month. I don't know if I'm going to have time to get to all of them. We've also got the Off remake, which came out in August. I mean to get to. There's a couple other games here. Bad Cheese, Chorus of Carcosa, Karma the Dark World, Goosebumps, Terror in Little Creek. That's if we have a lot. If we have a lot of time, I'll get to that one. But, yeah, I kind of want to get to some of these horror games that I have not been able to get to. But I've also got, like I said, Sleep Awake and AILA, new games coming up. So I don't know how much time I'm going to have, but I'm just going to try to get in as much as I can, and we'll see. Anything else spills over into January. Now, speaking of January 2026 is going to be Resident Evil month. I'm going to be posting some stuff other than Resident Evil, but in light of Resident Evil Requiem, aka Resident Evil 9, coming out at the end of February 2026, I will be replaying all the RE Engine Resident Evil games. So I'm going to play Resident Evil 1 Remake, even though it's not RE Engine. I'm going to be playing Resident Evil 2 Remake, Resident Evil 3 Remake, Resident Evil 4 Remake, Resident Evil 7, and Resident Evil Village. I'm also planning on playing through, if we have time, I'll gauge, but Resident Evil 0 would be fun to replay, as well as I may be playing Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now, I will not be playing, I'll be skipping 5 and 6, as they're extremely long co-op experiences. With that said, Kimmy and I actually played through Resident Evil 6 in its entirety on her stream a couple of years ago, and I have the VODs for it, so I'm thinking about putting together maybe just a long playthrough, long video playthrough of us playing through Resident Evil 6. I posted a video of us playing the entirety of Resident Evil 5. I think it was a 12-hour video earlier this year, and people enjoyed that, so I might throw 6 up there too. But it's not by no means required viewing for Requiem. In addition, and I don't know how much of this I can say, but Easy Small is planning on also at the same time recording a Resident Evil Outbreak Files 1 and 2 series in early next year. I don't know if it will be January or February, but it will be before Requiem. Because if you know anything about Resident Evil Requiem, there's ties to Outbreak, specifically one character and Outbreak. And so we want to play through it. We previously played through it, me, Gab, Sinnoh, and Craven, like 5-6 years ago. Something like that. It was a long time ago. And if you want to see those videos, you can check them out on Gab's channel. I think that's the only place where they're currently posted. Let's see. But yeah, Gary has never played through them, so we're going to be playing through them with Gary. And that is planned for early next year. So it's going to be a lot of Resident Evil in the early months next year. And then when Resident Evil Requiem comes out, I'm obviously going to play that. Wouldn't miss it for the world. I have plans for the rest of the year after Requiem, from March to the end of the year. I have a little bit of a different idea of game choice and how I want to do things, but I'm going to refrain from announcing anything like that until later. But just know that after the Resident Evil stuff is over, I have a plan that's going to be a little bit different for content on this channel going forward. However, I don't want you to worry. It is based on all of your feedback that I've been monitoring, not only in the comments of general videos, but also in shareholder meetings, and what I think y'all would most like to see. In fact, it's based almost entirely on stuff that you guys have been repeatedly asking for. So that's all I'll say about it for now. But yeah, next year is going to be a little bit of a different one for me, and I'm excited to see how it goes. More information about that in the future. I also, one last thing, if I can get around to it, if I can get it done in a way that I'd be proud of, I do want to make a little award show video, possibly for January, and it would basically be me giving my thoughts and granting awards of the year to various horror games that were published in 2025. I don't know exactly what it'll look like yet, but it's not just going to be like games that I played on the channel in 2025. It's going to be just horror games released in 2025. I know that there's already some presentations out there like this, like the Horror Game Awards. In fact, there's two events called the Horror Game Awards. But I kind of want to do my own thing, and I'm thinking about how best to do that. But obviously, in order to give out awards, I've got to play enough games to be fair about it. So that's partially why I'm trying to cram in as many as I can this month. But yeah, that's my general plan. I don't know if I'll end up doing it, but I'd like to end up doing that. Oh yes, and the Game Awards, the actual Game Awards, are happening on the 11th of this month. I'll be watching that live on my Twitch, and I'll be posting my reaction video the plan is to post it on this channel the next day. It might be more of a highlights thing than like a full 3 to 4 hour reaction VOD or anything like that. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But that's my general plan for everything this month and actually the next 2 months and actually just vaguely in 2026. So I ended up talking a lot, but hopefully there's a lot of stuff to chew on there. Let me know your thoughts on any and all of it. And yeah, don't forget to sign out as you leave. Sorry again for no snacks. We just didn't budget for it. And yeah, thanks for a great 2025. I'll see you next time for one of these in 2026. I'll see you a year from now. All right. Thanks for watching and thanks for attending. Think critically.